Let's talk about a feeling, a really profound, really heavy one that I think a lot of us might know all too well. It's that feeling of just complete apathy. That sense of I don't care that can just totally take over when things get rough. You know, the world outside keeps going, but inside your own head, everything just stops, and it starts repeating one single phrase over and over again.
Yeah, that's the one. I don't care. It is so simple, so blunt, and it's really the heart of what we're going to break down today. Because, look, this isn't just being in a bad mood. For a lot of people, this is a whole state of being. It's like a heavy blanket just got thrown over you, muffling everything.
So to really get what this feels like, let's do something. Let's actually step inside the mind of someone who's right in the middle of it. This is the kind of internal monologue that can play on a loop when you're just completely overwhelmed.
See, it starts with the most basic things. Simple, everyday decisions you have to make. The need to make them is there, sure, but the actual energy, the motivation to even choose, it's just gone.
Then it kind of moves on to self-care, right? The things we know we should do, the things that are good for us. That little voice of reason, the one trying to help, it gets shot down instantly by this massive wave of apathy.
And this is where it gets really sneaky. It starts to attack your joy, hobbies, things you used to love, things that were your escape. They all just lose their color. The desire to even try to have fun, it just evaporates.
And now you can see just how powerful this state can be. I mean, even a huge, legitimate stressor, like your finances, gets completely neutralized. The alarm bells that should be screaming in your head are just silent. It's this profound detachment from your own reality.
So what on earth is going on here? Is this just giving up? Well, no, not really. There's actually a pretty powerful psychological reason why our brains do this. This whole experience. It has a name. And it has a purpose.
So clinically, this feeling is called emotional numbness, or apathy, and it's a really common feature of intense depressive episodes. At its core, it's basically the mind's way of slamming on the emergency brakes.
And this is so important to get. This is not a character flaw. It is not you being lazy, and it is absolutely not you being weak. It is a biological defense system kicking into high gear because the emotional pain has just become too much to handle.
I want you to think of it like a circuit breaker in your house, you know? First, there's this overwhelming surge of emotional pain or exhaustion. The system is totally overloaded. So to prevent a complete meltdown, the brain activates its defenses. It flips a switch. And the result of that? Numbness. That feeling of I don't care.
Okay, so it's a shield and it offers some temporary protection. Sounds good, right? Well, maybe. But it comes with a pretty big hidden cost. It's a really dangerous place to stay for too long, and it's super important to understand why.
Here's the paradox of the whole thing. After you've been feeling just raw agony, that numbness can actually feel like a relief. It's quiet, it's empty, and you know what? That emptiness can feel a whole lot safer than the crazy storm of emotions you were just in.
Let's just put them side by side for a second. On one hand, you've got raw despair. It's intense, it's agonizing, it is loud. But on the other hand, you have apathy. It's deceptively neutral. It's quiet. And while despair might be screaming for your attention, apathy is quietly dismantling your life from the inside out.
And what does it go after? The absolute essentials. It takes apart your ability to just function day to day. It cuts the threads connecting you to other people. It sabotages the most basic acts of taking care of yourself. And worst of all, it chips away at the one thing you need the most to get out of this: hope.
But, and this is a really big but, this is not a story without a way out. In fact, if you recognize this pattern in yourself at all, something pretty incredible has already happened. You've already taken the first step.
Just noticing it, seriously. Just being able to say to yourself, oh, there's that I don't care feeling again. That moment of awareness, that simple observation, that is the first crack of light in the darkness. It creates a tiny bit of space between you and the feeling.
And that brings us to what might be the most critical takeaway from all of this. If you've been watching this and recognized any part of yourself, what is the most powerful, most important thing you've already done?
This is it. The simple act of you observing your own apathy proves that it hasn't won. It means there's a flicker of you, a small but really vital part that does still care. It cares enough to notice what's happening.
It cares enough to try and understand it. It cares enough to know that I don't care isn't the end of your story. And that small part, that part is everything.